Hey, Commander Alexander the Grape here. I want to do a video on flight assist and when it should be on and when it should be off. There have been a lot of myths and misconceptions floating around that I want to dispel. The footage I'm using today is of a very close CQC match I had recently with some excellent foes, which I think nicely illustrates some of the benefits you can get from proper use of FA off and FA on. Now, I'm not saying I fly perfectly, as you can probably tell. However, I do hope it demonstrates some of the benefits you can get from knowing when and how to use flight assist. Because the unfortunate fact is that the vast majority of Elite Dangerous players use flight assist wrong, or more charitably, they use it non-optimally. Now, this is not your fault. The developers at Frontier don't give enough info, and the way to properly use it is unintuitive. Luckily for you, I'm here to help with that. Now, there are 3 common myths about flight assist off I would like to dispel. The first misconception is that flight assist is a party trick. It's used to show off, it makes things harder, but doesn't improve your ship's performance, or that the impact is negligible. Now, this is wrong. This is factually incorrect. Flight assist does change the way your ship handles, not just on a control basis, but on how the actual thrusters perform. Now, people who hold this view tend to just keep flight assist on 24/7 because that's what they're comfortable with. This does not mean that they are bad pilots, however. If you use flight assist on, you can still be an excellent pilot, you can still be an excellent combat pilot, a PvP pilot, or even a racer with flight assist on all the time. Flight assist off is difficult, and this video is not to suggest that the next time you get interdicted by a hostile commander, you have to turn flight assist off or you're going to lose. Which leads me on to my next point. The misconception that the opposite is true, that flight assist off is some kind of amazing secret god mode that will instantly make you an ace pilot and defeat anyone who comes at you. And this conception comes from a lot of pilots, specifically a lot of the videos, excellent videos that Commander Isonoa puts out, who uses flight assist off for roleplay purposes. And it does confirm advantage in many circumstances, but you do not have to use flight assist off to be a good combat pilot. I have faced many PvP pilots. Awful lot of them use flight assist on constantly and still were better than me. Flight assist off gives significant benefits, but it also has very significant and situational downsides, so keeping it on all the time is not an optimal solution. The reason pilots like Isonoa and other flight assist off users such as Robbie, who's an excellent contrail pilot, the reason they're so successful is not because they are constantly using flight assist off. That gives them an advantage, but the reason they're so successful is because primarily they're good pilots. The third and perhaps most understandable mistake in the way that people use FA off is to take the most noticeable factor, which is the turn rate. When you turn flight assist off, you have an instant and noticeable increase in your ship's rate of rotation. But that is not the only impact it gives, and the focus on turn rate as the advantages of flight assist off can often blind people to the other benefits it can give, but also the downsides. And in many situations, turning FA off to turn faster will actually mean you turn slower. In order to understand why these attitudes and these strategies of having flight assist on all the time, or flight assist off all the time, or only turning flight assist off to turn faster are non-optimal. We need to actually delve deeper and understand what flight assist actually is and how it affects your ship. So what is flight assist? Essentially, it's a toggleable option that determines whether or not your ship will automatically work to keep you in one place, as long as you're not inputting control. With flight assist on, your movement and rotation will be countered automatically by your ship the second you stop pushing it in that direction. For instance, if you cease inputting rotational control, your ship will stop your turning. And if you set your throttle to 0, your ship will slow you to a halt. By contrast, flight assist off makes all your control inputs cumulative and Newtonian. That is to say, if you start moving or turning in a direction, you will not stop until a counterforce is applied. It's this cumulative nature of flight assist off that makes it harder to control, which is why many people struggle with it. However, it is not just a control option. This is not the only impact that it has. Flight assist being on or off has a direct impact on the power of your thrusters and your speed limit. This can make a difference of 50 to 20%, giving you a significant edge in combat if you can identify the situations where it should be used and when it should not. How does your ship's performance change with flight assist? Well, as I mentioned before, perhaps the most obvious factor is that with flight assist off, your turn rate increases. I don't have access to the exact figures, but the evidence that I've seen points towards an approximate increase of 15% in overall rotation rate. It may not sound like a lot, but a 15% increase in turn rate is extremely significant. For instance, 15% is the difference in pitch rate between a Federal assault ship and a Federal drop ship, and anyone who's flown those two ships knows the sizable difference between the two. The other most easily observable factor is that with flight assist off, you will completely remove the percentage caps on lateral, vertical and reverse speed. Now, normally, i.e. with flight assist on, lateral, vertical and reverse speed is capped at a percentage of your maximum forward speed. Now, in most cases, this is around 70%, though it varies depending on the situation. However, with flight assist off, this cap is completely removed. This means that your lateral, vertical or reverse speed will have exactly the same maximum as your forward non-boosted maximum speed. One difference that is less obvious that I've recently discovered through my own testing is that any acceleration, be it forwards, backwards, lateral or vertical, will be much greater. My numbers suggest roughly 20% backwards, lateral and vertical and 50% faster forwards when you have flight assist off. So when you want to accelerate, flight assist off is always better. This is huge. A 50% difference in forward acceleration is the difference between an anaconda and a python. A difference of 20% in vertical or lateral thrusters is the difference between a Cobra Mark III and a Viper Mark III. You might hear this and think, there are so many upsides. When should I ever turn flight assist on? Surely I should just be using flight assist off all the time. But you'd be wrong. Flight assist off does have one extremely potent downside, and it's not that it's harder. This is a physical impact flight assist off has on your ship's performance. With flight assist off, your vertical and lateral deceleration becomes about 50% worse than with flight assist on. This is a huge difference. Vertical and lateral deceleration is extremely important for maneuvering, staying on top of enemy, avoiding incoming fire, and spiraling to throw off your enemy's aim. In all of these situations, it would be advisable to use flight assist on rather than flight assist off. The key to deciding whether or not to use flight assist on or off is understanding what's more important to you in that situation. Is it better for you to have an optimal turn rate, a faster acceleration, or increased non-forward speed caps? In that case, you should turn flight assist off. However, if it's more important to you that you have tighter control of your vertical and lateral movement due to improved deceleration, then you should turn flight assist on. But if you're in a situation where you don't have to have optimal rotation, you don't have to have optimal acceleration, and you don't have to have the absolute best deceleration that you possibly could, then use whatever you're most comfortable with. There's no one right way to use flight assist. The best pilots use it adaptively, and hopefully the information I've given you today has allowed you to make those decisions a little bit easier. I'm Commander Alexander the Grape. If you want to hear more videos or in-depth discussions and explanations on elite systems, then like this video, subscribe, leave a comment. I'll try and do more stuff like this in the future. If you're on a specific topic, then open to suggestions. Thanks for watching and fly safe.